Hey everybody, and wonderful news. My game just crashed. Today has been trying day. Oh my goodness. Can't think of a better way to start a stream than to click on the game after you come out of your intro and it crashes. So we load on back in and, well, load up that first load of harvester. My screen is muted because there was no sound. Happy Farm Sim 22 Day as well, GoldenEye. Hey, Thor, Scooter's Workbench. Hey, Henry, Mervin, Optimus, GTX. What is up this fine day? This is about where I started about 15 minutes ago. Now we are back. Before we do that, let's just check. Oh, okay. Well, feeding me. Good old GTX. He helped me get the silo working. So no more need for a trailer. Fill the wheelbarrow from the ground. What about today's big news? I know some folks were pretty sure we're going to be seeing an announcement about the new game. Our folks, I think, were maybe hopeful, weren't putting too much into it. I think I had a pretty darn good idea come Monday. Because obviously the Farm Sim 19 in a nutshell, that seemed very, very finale, right? Okay, here's where we've been with Farm Sim 19. Wasn't like a Farm Sim 19 to this point. It was Farm Sim 19 in a nutshell. That's very, very closure. And then Monday morning, drop of 3. Obviously a countdown because the darn video said countdown. So what could be big announcement? And if you scrubbed through that, right? If you scrubbed through that, early on it said V19. Okay, so it kind of led to Farm Sim 19, version 19. And then it said R. The R was a little bit of a trickery. Some folks were thinking R might be something like a nod to a DLC again. Like maybe there was some ambassadors rooting for a Renault DLC. But others weren't quite sure. They were still pretty confident. They knew what was going on. Oops. Then on Tuesday, we had the 2. Right? But still, if you scrubbed slowly through it, still said V19R. Okay. And then yesterday, I was 100% sure what was going on. Yesterday, we had the 22, April 22nd. And if you scrub through that one, V19 was gone, and V22 was there. At that point, I was like, holy shit. It's happening, and it's going to be version 22. And then the R had changed to a T. A little interesting. In retrospect, some folks believe that may have been teaser, trailer. So 5 a.m. my time, 11 a.m. Giants time. Drop the ball on everybody, right? Blog post, a little CG trailer. Didn't see much in the CG trailer other than a little hat flying around, but we know now that to some degree, base game is going to have some type of seasonal support. What's interesting in the announcement, they call it seasonal cycles. So that's got me wondering, why would you call it seasonal cycles? This is purely speculation. I don't have any, trust me, there has been no advance information out of Giants as to what was going on. But it's got me wondering, as a player, why they're calling it seasonal cycles. And I'll tell you what I think. I think we're going to see included in the base game either something like akin to Seasons Light, or it will be something where we can toggle kind of different functions of seasons on and off. Like today, we can go in, we can toggle on and off plowing, we can toggle on and off lime, we can toggle on and off weeds. So I see seasons, or these seasonal cycles, as being something we can toggle on and off. I also wonder if maybe there might be something in the works where Seasons Light, we'll call it that, is in the base game, again probably toggleable, but then possibly Realismus comes out with a kind of Seasons Pro add-on. Let's think about lime and fertilizer in Farm Sim 19 and precision farming as a pro version of lime and fertilizer as an add-on, so that players that want it can bolt it on. Players that don't want it, it's not there to begin with. Or it's there, just in a very light and possibly easier to understand, easier to use system. It's all speculation. I have no real idea. So they did employ one of them. So Radkin was hired by Giants back after basically Seasons was released for Farm Sim 17. He was the lead developer for Seasons. He was employed with them and worked on the mission system, amongst other things, with respect to Farm Sim 19. And basically had a release post Farm Sim 19 release to basically be able to work on Seasons as well as alongside of the other Realismus team members. Go ahead and up here and get our tractor. So right, as I posted in another Discord today, someone had made a comment that Giants was stealing modders, mods, and putting them in the game, I had to set them right with that. Giant's terms of service states that basically you are giving them, Giants, the right to use your mod developed with their tools, basically however they wish. You're not turning over ownership, but you're basically granting them use rights. I've been working on getting ready for a deeper dive kind of Farm Sim 22 video, so I've got some content. Might try it out on you guys a little bit later as we talk about other topics specific to the announcement. And save. Something else very interesting that came up in the Discord recently was that the potential that the additional settings mod might be having some interesting conflict with horses. Curious if any of you all are using additional settings and have horses. Over on the Discord, someone was having issues with respect to animals and whatnot on Susquehanna River Valley, and it came down to when he had additional settings enabled and bought a horse, then all the animals went wonky. Like, he'd load in and he'd have different breeds of different animals. He might have had 50 Dorper sheep, but next time he loads in, he'll have a mix of different breeds of sheep. So I've run, right here, we've got 40 pigs. And we have additional animal settings, but we don't have a horse. What he said was everything was kosher until he bought a horse. Then it went wonky. So I was curious. Anyone's kind of been able to repeat that. $20,000 heist points, eh? Why not go for all of it? So let's talk about the announcement. What was the thing, the big thing that got you kind of most excited, I should say, about the announcement? Was it the seasonal cycles, the images? Fishing like recreational fishing? or fishing from the standpoint of nourishing our farmer? Not recreational. Well, there was some production fish farms in 17. Now, there was a mention of new crops. No mention of what those new crops possibly were. There was a mention of new crops. New brands, new equipment. We've already seen the new Fendt forage harvester. We saw a new Massey Ferguson tractor in the screenshots. Now we've seen a completely different cow model. This one with perceivable hair on its hide, hair on its eyelashes, which I thought was pretty comical. Yeah, I'm not so sure about the license plate. We've mentioned it to Giants that we don't have license plates on our tractors. Cows taking a rest. Didn't know if you've all noticed, but there is at least two distinctive Holstein cow patterns in that image. There's two cows on the right. There's three cows on the right, and two cows are distinctively different in their patterns. Well, Spud, you see that on some mod maps. Not a lot of mod maps do that, but some mod maps have given you some animals at the start. So you can't do like four-way flashers on console. So we'll see. I mean, some of the things that they talked about in the blog post are the implementation of DX12, which, as was mentioned is it's going to bring a much better support for multi-core, multi-thread optimizations. I mean, here we have, for example, I've got a 12-core, 24-thread CPU, and my power system is even streaming. My power system's at 9%. GPU is at 50%. And my frames are at 48. So where's the bottleneck? Bottleneck's got to be the engine at that point, right? DX11 maybe. So I will very much look forward to DX12 coming, as well as some of the other optimizations. I'll have to pull up the blog post real quick while we unload this and read them off. I don't have to say that I did have to go look up some of these and figure out what the heck they were. So we've got stuff like, where are we at? Texture streaming. Okay, so texture streaming is an interesting concept. Whereas, basically, I'm thinking the way it works now in game, PTX could possibly confirm this, is basically the textures are all loaded in at once at the start, and basically then they're referenced out of system memory, but they're all basically read in and loaded at the start. Texture streaming, very simple concept, is that textures are loaded in as they're needed, as they're requested. So we don't load in a brick texture until we need a brick texture. And then in theory, I guess the reverse of that would be texture unloading, to dump textures that aren't needed to allow room for those that are to come in. Others, occlusion culling. This one was an interesting one. When I looked up that one, because I'm like, what is that? The idea of only rendering what is visible at the time. Which kind of implies that that's not how the game works now, right? I mean, that wouldn't be a new feature if it already did that. So that can indeed improve performance. I'm not looking at that big farm up there on the hill. It doesn't need to render it. I'm not looking at that farmhouse behind me. It doesn't need to render it. Temporal anti-aliasing. That one was the most confusing and complex one. But basically, how it was kind of described is, let's take a look at these tires, right? It basically deals with the refresh rate of things on screen. And, you know, when we drive, at some point when we get to a certain speed, these tires appear to slow down their rotation, right? And now that, and they appear to stop the rotation, they appear to rotate backwards. That basically relates on, you know, the refresh rate of the game engine, basically on how fast things are basically being rendered. Also, and you get to a point where you're at a 1-to-1 ratio and things appear to stop. So more to that than just that kind of example, but that was an example that was given online when I was looking it up. So they talk about all of those enhancements basically leading to better performance on all platforms, including older consoles. Of a scooter, it would render it because you're seeing it. Like the game would know what you're looking at and what it can see. Okay, so it would know, that I can see that. Somehow it knows what I'm looking at, and it knows I can't see what's over the hill. But if I fly up, then it knows the camera's perspective and knows that I can see over that hill then. So the first thing I thought about was, hey, that would give us better performance on maps like Susquehanna River Valley, where for whatever reason we seem to get really weird frame drops when we look in certain directions, even though there's nothing really in our vision. We might be looking at a building. If we look at the ground, we're okay. If we look up, then all of a sudden it's not. We're gonna have to trim this off a little bit. So I'm interested to learn more about that. See more of that, hopefully in action. We've got 6 to 8 months, so to be released Q4 of 2021. So that could be October, November, December. And other things of note, kind of not specific to gameplay, but this will be Giant's endeavor in self-publishing a game. So at least the publication responsibility that was Focus Home Interactive's role, that is going to be picked up by Giants. That is a pretty heavy lift. Giants is now not only developing the game, we're going to need to basically work with printing companies, work with companies that can press disc media, companies that can package and ship the physical copies of the game globally. They're going to have to work with deals with Epic and Steam for digital distribution. All the marketing is now going to be on Giants. These are all roles that Focus Home Interactive would have done in the past. A lot more responsibility, but it could also be a lot more in the way of profits, because of course Focus didn't do that free of charge. I'm sure they took a percentage off every sale. The price might not go down, it might go up. That's the thing. Maybe there was some sort of negotiated deal with Focus Home Interactive Games with that they might have had with Steam and Epic, right? They might have a deal where certain games are of a certain percentage. Maybe Steam only took a certain cut of focus games compared to others. So it could go down, it could go up, could be the same. We won't know until pre-sale. And I really don't expect pre-sale, in my opinion, until FarmCon. I think FarmCon will be where they announce the price. They obviously announce and have a bigger trailer at E3, which I think is in June. Maybe E3 will be when they do pre-sale announcement. Spud, I mean, you can add an add-on GPS, aftermarket GPS to anything. Just how much you're willing to purchase, and that's in real life. Buy a GPS, receiver head and mount it on a 1980s tractor if you wanted, and mount a GPS monitor controller to a 1980s tractor if you wanted. Wire it up. There's no reason that it can't be on older equipment. David, welcome to chat. How have you been? So other news about this map, Jamberry, good friend Jamberry mentioned that this map might be released today or tomorrow. Didn't happen today. So I'm wondering if we're going to see Italia demo released in the Giants Mod Hub tomorrow. And if so, maybe for all platforms. I did see it still listed in the testing thread today for console. Oh, Chris Miller, what'd you do? Oh, Streamlabs doesn't like when you put periods between words. It gets a little particular. GTX pointed out that there appear to be number plates on at least on the Massey Ferguson tractor. Maybe we'll see more of that, but again, don't need number plates on our Americanized stuff. I mean, it shouldn't be hard, GTX, right? I mean, a link. You need a domain. Well, there's only certain domains that exist, right? So why are you just searching for letters surrounded by a dot, period? This way this time. We got some nice images and some little hints to the maps. Multiple maps. One of them appears to be an American map, or at least somewhere where they have double yellow lines. on the middle of the roads. So that is exciting to see. Talked about further refinements to the Erlengrot map. So it sounds like possibly that map will be like Stancha Lapacha from Farm Sim 17, in that it might be either a third map in the base game, or, in my opinion, probably more likely, a early mod map add-on. Because to some degree, what's included in the base game is going to be contingent on fitting on the physical media, if they're still going to have physical media. And I know that there is still kind of a market for physical media. Yeah, Chris, you're going to have to watch. And the only reason I have it looking at links is that right now nobody other than a mod can post a link in chat. And at some point I might want to allow it. And there's a way with the bot to, one-time allow link posting. Oh, yes. I forget the name of that map. One with all the production. Oh, Thor, that would be very bad, a broken hip. I see it hasn't slowed your gambling down. Spud, it's hard to say, but I would look at. It's hard to look at. Hard to look at Farm Sim 19 at this point because so many mods have been updated. There probably isn't a single mod that hasn't had one iteration. 3 to 4 months. Hard to say. It depends on really the degree of change. So there was a pretty big change in modding from 17 to 19 because of the use of UDIM textures. The modders who were looking to basically model vehicles and implements wanted to do it the 19 way, needed to learn and understand the UDIM texturing system, and basically that uses things kind of built into the engine, built into the game, to do textures like this fabric back here, the rubber, the metal, plastic. Basically they're all kind of textures built into the game. So it allows the mods to be physically smaller, allows them to be a bit more complex, but it was a different technique. It took a little while for people to learn that and come up to speed with it. There's also some pretty interesting changes to the API scripting calls. For mod maps, they made significant changes to basically where things are in mod maps. How things are basically moved to A lot of things got moved to XML. So for example, maps like this that have, you know, multiple crops, additional crops, your multi-fruit maps. In 17, they required a custom Lua to basically kind of register those additional crops. But in 19, it's all done in XML, which means for the first time, console players can get multi-fruit maps because it doesn't require additional scripts. So it took a while for map authors to come up to speed, fully understand that. So it depends on really the degree of the underpinning changes that happen. Creating gaming heist is kind of a little mini chat game, like going on an adventure. And then I wrote up a little custom little story. So, you know, it goes back to kind of what I was harping on. Eric, there's a link in the description for the map. What I was harping on the other day in a stream was to the people who say, well, I'm not going to play it until there's a bunch of mods, because I only play with mods. Well, to those people I say, you need to learn how the base game works. Because when you start tossing mods in, you don't know, are mods messing up my game, or is the base game just not working right? If you don't have that basis, you blame the base game, and you don't understand it's that little mod that you're loving so terribly much, it's causing you all your grief. So I say use those 2, 3, 4 months, however long it takes, to get a firm grasp on the base game gameplay. And if once you have that down, you want to kind of table farm sim until you feel a good mod map comes out, or other mods that you feel you need to use come out, then by all means. It's still early, Genetic J. It's still early, right? And to some degree, if 19 satisfies that itch, well, let it, right? Let it continue to satisfy that itch. Go unload this. Yeah, I mean, what you could do, well, I think what Optimus likes to do is he wants to have like 10,000 chickens. So holding the enter key down for a couple thousand versus being able to buy in type in a number. Come on, 20,000 chickens. I mean, I guess you could cut and paste 20,000 lines in XML enumerating the animal number. $20,000 chickens sounds like a very smelly problem. When is canola? Best price for canola is in late autumn. Okay. Wheat is early winter. Corn is early winter. It's still not ready. So the only crops that we've got in ground now that are not ready to harvest are corn, our carrots, and our onions. Well, Spud, if you're talking about Farm Sim 22, according to Giants' blog post, they have worked on the AI as part of the move to the version 9 of the Giants engine. They iterated the Giants engine to probably work with DX12, but also, let me go back here and read it. Farming Simulator 22 is based on the Giants Engine 9 and comes with a variety of improvements, like more realistic AI behavior and richer worlds, with graduated reverberation of motors, gear selection, and tonal variations depending on the load. Sound shifts towards more realism, just to give you an example. That was from, too long to post. That was from the Giants blog announcing the new game. So what does that mean? More realistic AI? I don't know. Does it mean they're going to give you lip? It looked like in the screenshots that I posted over on the Discord and that I had in my Farm Sim 22 announcement video, that we're going to get new player characters, new player models for our virtual farmers. The guy driving the John Deere tractor, he looks bald. Either that or he's wearing a flesh-colored hat. maybe that's what bald people could say. I'm not bald, I'm just wearing a flesh-colored hat. Then no, that wasn't the guy driving the Fendt. Sorry, the Fendt forage harvester looked bald. The guy driving the John Deere tractor actually was wearing a green hoodie. So I gotta wonder, can you dress your AI farmer in branded clothing? You know, like right now he can wear a hat, right? He can wear a branded hat. Maybe in 22 we can have other things like a John Deere green hoodie for your John Deere farmer. Kristen the man, welcome to chat. Carla, welcome to chat. David, it did say seasonal changes are built into the base game. So if you haven't had a chance to check the Discord, check the Discord. I put several screenshots in screenshots. 4 of those screenshots are showing you the different seasons from a specific perspective. But they describe it as seasonal changes or seasonal cycles. Well, Creighton, it keeps with the naming scheme of releasing in the fall, but naming it for the upcoming year. Kind of like car manufacturers will release their 2022 models in the fall of 2021. It does bring some interesting things up with respect to their mobile game. So up until this point, their mobile games have had even numbers, and their PC console game have had odd numbers. Does this mean that we're going to flip? And are we going to have odd numbers for the mobile game? Will the mobile game be completely renamed and therefore be able to be distinguished other than the number? Right now, the most recent mobile game is Farm Sim 20. Or are they going to go to Farm Sim 23? Or will there be something else to signify the mobile game versus the PC console variant? So it could be anytime Q4, which is going to be October, November, December time frame. The last game they released in November, Farm Sim 17, was released in October. That Henry's on a tear. Good on ya. We have new crops, but we don't know what those new crops are going to be yet. New brands, we don't know what the new brands are going to be. Over 400 vehicles, implements, and tools. There was a question on another Discord today. Well, what did Farm Sim 19 release on? I had to go back to the Wayback Machine, the Internet Archive, to pull up a archived version of the Farm Sim website. And when I did that, I discovered that they were boasting over 300 vehicles, implements, and tools for 17, or for 19. and there were 110 brands in Farm Sim 19 at the start. That boy Duke, welcome to the stream. Well, shadows could be improved with the inclusion of DX12. That might be another kind of real nice byproduct of DX12. We don't know anything about changes to crop destruction. I'm sure it will still be there, and sure it will still be able to be toggled on and off. Up here and unload. This will be almost done our 3 fields of canola. So I like this destructible stubble. I don't think we're going to see that in the game, or we probably would have seen it in the screenshot of the harvester going through the field. We've got new ground textures, some new crop textures for sure. The forage harvester picture shows what looks like new corn textures. We definitely see new ground textures on all of the images that we've seen today. Sorry, creating, you don't have that many points. So after this, we can go back to our contracts. We've got a few more contract harvesting jobs to do. Ooh. Looking at some of the screenshots, hard to tell if the clouds look better or not in 22's images. That is a byproduct of Maize Plus trading games. This map is Maize Plus enabled, and when you have that mod activated, it will put the labels under all of the fill types. As you can see there. Oh, good thing we came back. There's a pole in the way. No, Optimus is not in the base game at all. Base game doesn't give you labels. Darn should. Yeah, it would be real nice if they do. Then they can be language specific, you know, so if you have French as your language, then they can show in French, German, English, whatever. I don't know what farmer play is. Raz, what's up? Oh, well, I have absolutely no idea what mod he uses. A help mod that builds experience points? Like, the more you have somebody harvest, the better they are at harvesting? That sounds like cattle and crops, right? All right, we are done our canola. An hour and 6 minutes. Heist is, I think, 100,000. I made 100,000 points. Bet it all. If you bet it all, you have bet it all. Easy come, easy go. Oh, good. I was hoping you wouldn't fill it all the way full. Slots is not your thing. I mean, Henry, you could double your money. So let's take this over to field 18, 19, 20. They're all beside each other. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, hey Henry, jump on in with Thor. Could be heist all buddies. Are. There he goes, heist all. See what's gonna come of this. Hope we have the incredible header locking harvester headers. All the gold. Let's see, are you successful? Do you come back with John Deere parts and technicians? Come back with John Deere parts? Or do you not? Drum roll, please. About time for the results. No, the bot might not be able to pay out. Oh! Oh, 4 lost points. Hey, Henry got double his money back. Thor just lost a boatload. Oh, look at that. Not even on the list. That's right. That big loose big. It's Thursday. Thursday's his streaming night. Let's hope so. Oh, I can't tab to anything at the farm. There isn't anything at the farm. Got my pillow. Got my pillar. There we go. Okay, now we can feed our pigs and demonstrate the wonderful, wonderful trigger that works now. Most thankful to GTX. I think you can give points. I think you can give your own points. Go and pick up our spillage. Big food. Squirt it out there. One more trailer. Thank you, GTX. Or tell me where to go to fix that. Would have never found it on my own because I just keep thinking about how everything was in the map in 17. Done that little bit of work in 19 in editor. So, scoop. Get these guys some water. Oh, setting up the auto part. We can sell this trailer. Won't need it none more. Not on ya. Oh, we talked about it. Yes, sir, we did. What do you want to talk about it? We'll talk about it some more. This is not multiplayer. You would have to have a ton of mods and all that other fun jazz. What? Oh. Crops are too wet. What's up with that? Corn. Sunflower harvesting. Sunflower harvesting. Oh, well, it's just going to be the end of the hour. Okay. I was going to say, did I read that wrong? R10X. There we go. What's the question? This, yeah, okay. We already looked at that. Well, are you playing with seasons or are you not playing with seasons? That's going to affect how you make your hay. You get straw quick by harvesting wheat, barley, or oats, and then collecting it. Without seasons, you have to cut grass, you have to ted it, then you have to windrow it, then you have collectible hay. It's pretty straightforward. Straw, you just go find a wheat field, harvest it, pick up the straw. But you have to own the field. Thor's advice. Careful, if you high stall, it'll take all your points away. Indeed, I gave it some teeth. Well, Nathan, I would say that seasons would be more realistic than without. Without seasons, you can plant, harvest, and all in the same day. Plant crop today, harvest tomorrow. Or you can harvest a crop, plant a crop, and then harvest it the next day. Seasons, you have to actually progress through the year, doing things in a specific order. In that case, with seasons to get hay, first you have to wait for grass to grow. That means probably late spring or summer. Then you need to wait till you have a couple days of good dry weather to mow the grass. You have semi-dry grass, and then at that point let it sit on the ground until it dries, which should take about a day and a half. Then once it's dried naturally to hay, you'll be able to go around and windrow it and collect it. There is no way to force grass to dry into hay with seasons other than waiting. Well, Nathan, if you're new to seasons, then I strongly suggest you go watch my seasons playlist, start to finish, before you dive on in. Ultimately, the season duration that you pick is very user choice. Recently did a poll seeing what season duration most people used, and it seemed like the popular choice was 9-day seasons, which is the default. Hey Ryan, what's up? All right, let's see. I don't know how many points I have, but let's double them. Fence. Oh, I lost all my points. I lost them all. Oh well. It didn't register my entry. I did, because it was a full victory that came back. See that? What I do, favorite mods, Nathan? Leave it me to do it wrong. Where do we need to take this? IFO. Ah, it's way over here. There, we'll try it better then. Oh, it's on cooldown. Hit by my own extra long cooldown. The best map to play is a map that you like. I don't particularly know which maps are on console and which ones are not. This map might be available on console tomorrow. It has been rumored that it might get released tomorrow. Now, it's been listed as being in testing this week for console. Also surprised by a poll. There was a vast majority, 80% of the respondents, I think it was 1,000 votes. 1,000 votes, 80% of the respondents to bales versus loose. That honestly really surprised me. I was thinking it would be a little bit more loose-sided than bale-sided. Not the season's Let's Play, the season's How To. Ryan, I would say at this point, pretty happy with what they've listed as being added. More interested in refinements of what already exists than layering on new stuff. All right, let's see. Can we do it now? Who wants to join the Heist All train? Oh, it's still not ready. So I'd like them to see refine pallet physics or fork physics in general. Because moving around pallets with forks can be so frustrating. Darren, did you get that beast of a system running? Raz, did you say what you wanted to talk about seasons on or farm sim on? I miss it. VI Planet, we are. We are indeed. We don't see the mini map change because this is a contract map. Oh, I know this is gonna maybe reinvigorate some folks. Something new's coming down the pipe. Playing what we've got has some finality to it. I used the built-in geo for this map. Map has some parts of the geo already added, and then for what isn't there, just the base seasons. This contract's going to take me a while. Oh no, he lost his telephone. How's he going to control the bots? Speaking of bots, They could VI plan it, but I don't know if they will. I think they'll leave it as an add-on. Who wants to join the heist all train? Hop on board. All you gotta do is explanation heist all, bet them all. Go big, go home. Where the big boys come to play. All aboard the heist all train. Will we all bust? Seek farmers of fortune. That is the question. Go. We'll be interested to see what the new crops are. Talk about new crops. What could they be? Oh, some of us came home. Hey, Henry, look at that. 144,000 points. Dang. Get a new leader, boys. Did they say new animals? I know they said new animal models. We're gonna climb the steep hill. Oh, it's windy. Look at those clouds moving. Oh, for sure. Sure, revamp multiplayer. Alright, let's go dump this at the IPO. Go. Well, DC Charles, decent is in the eye of the player, right? So what's decent to you might be not decent to someone else. And remember, the Giants must build their maps to the smallest or to the least performing system, which is going to be the Xbox and PS4. So to that extent, they're going to have a limited amount of trees in them. Likely going to be a bit more open. Less details, less foliage in general to keep up the performance for those lower powered systems. %, so we've got 15, 30, 60, 90, 7 loads. So we need to bring 6 more loads over here. Well, Charles, but the game is going to support PS4 and Xbox One. So again, other than the graphical improvements, the performance improvements that are going to be coming from the implementation of DX12, and some other things, you still have PS4 and Xbox One hardware. So the changes in the Giants engine, version 9, and the inclusion of DX12 is sure to help things for sure. But still, we're talking about PS4 and Xbox One with limited RAM, limited processing power. Raz, I do think it was on the picture with the John Deere tractor, because the roads in the back had double yellow lines. I don't know about the other one though. All right, later, Charles. We're going to be about done here anyway, in about 15 minutes. We're going to hand it off to Sir Raznak here. He's going to be playing it on Emerald Coast. Or's figured out all the max points by keeping track of what he wins and what he loses. is just a gambling fool. Blame him for counting cards, but clearly we're not playing card games. Almost done the cooldown. It will be interesting to see what we get out of Giants in the coming weeks and months, when they will drop the bomb on certain things like brands being included, vehicles, implements, and other tools being included. What favorites from Farm Sim 17 and 19 might not find their way into 2022? What new additions there are? Oh, the dirt roads are fabulous on this map for sure. And if we're all lucky, this map will be coming to console tomorrow. Still listed in testing today. Jamberry, a great friend of the channel, felt pretty confident that it might come at the end of this week. Lewis, welcome to the chat. Glad you can make it. This is not the Pro version. This is the light version. As far as I know, the Pro version is not released yet. The demo version, which is the version without Maize Plus and without a few other things, is in testing for consoles and PC over at the Giants Forum. I know, how about Farm Sim 22? With that crazy announcement this morning. Does get the juices flowing again with respect to Farm Sim interest rate. Community in general is now abuzz with what they hope's in, what they hope's not in. Think is in. They think of the screenshots that were released today. I believe the map is the same for the demo version. Aside from, I believe the pig farm was removed in order to keep the file size down. But according to the website, the demo version was the same number of fields, just did not include Maize Plus, did not include multi-terrain angle. Oh no! Disaster! Everyone has lost all their points they betted. "21 years after the great tech crash, all the old farm equipment is guarded by old, crazy farmers, and all they can say is, 'Get off my lawn!'" You bet them all. You bet all your points. They're all gone. You need to start all over again. Easy come, easy go. What are you gonna do? Oh, it feels bad. Oh, you guys are crazy. Yeah, I'm happy to have 497 points. That's all I have to say. RTX, you do have 2080 points. Too bad you can't sell those 2080 points on eBay. Here they're going for pretty good rates. Alright guys, well that is just going to about do us for the night. We're going to toss it over to Raz. He's going to be streaming here in a few minutes on the Emerald Coast. He wants to talk about Farm Sim 22, so go over there and chat it up with him. Tell him about all the cool things you think are going on with Farm Sim 22. I've got a deep dive into Farm Sim 22 video to put together now that I've had a chance to actually peruse the material and take a closer look at all the video or the images that were supplied earlier this morning. Let's go ahead and roll our wonderful list of channel members. Joined in the last few days. I still need to add your name, so don't worry there. Always be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, happy farming.